Hi everyone, welcome back to some more Debate 'em All. This is episode 6, and I just want to give you guys a massive thank you for all the support on episode 5. It's the most viewed episode of Debate 'em All, and I just really appreciate it. I appreciate that you guys came to hear me out. There wasn't much hate or anything, you know, nobody was angry at each other. I'm here to have a nice discussion with my viewers, that's it, right? We're not getting angry at each other for our differing opinions. This is what I want. I just want to talk, okay? So yeah, thank you for that. If you want to go ahead and continue supporting the series, drop a like on it for me. And if you missed the last episodes, a link to a playlist where you can watch them all is in the description. So I've took some more comments from the last video, and I think that's how the series is going to work mainly. I think we're going to mainly focus on YouTube comments. So if you want to potentially be featured in the next video, then go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know, I guess, it doesn't have to be a controversial opinion, just an opinion that you hold regarding Pokemon, and I'll just pick which ones I want to talk about. And if, you know, you shared one last video, you are more than welcome to share it again if it isn't included in this video, because I might have missed it, or, you know, you feel free to share your opinion again if you want to. I don't want people to get discouraged, like, oh, I've already shared it once and he didn't say anything about it, so boo. Don't get discouraged or whatever. Anyways, enough jibber jabbering. Let's get into the first topic of discussion, or whatever you want to call it. Not controversial, but I want the Elite Four and Champion to have level 100 Pokemon, or at least 80 to 90, because they're supposed to be strong, and then they've got level 50s to 60s. It's a bit disappointing. You could also use Pokemon that evolve later, and leveling will be a bit easier. I think it's interesting, because I saw this comment, and I was like, okay, this is going to be cool to talk about, but I just don't really... I don't know if I agree or disagree, because, okay, let's say, hypothetically, you battle the champion, their ace is level 90. Then you've got a whole bunch of post-game. Knock on wood, they actually add post-game. And, you know, I guess Pokemon, it would make it better for, I think it would make it better from a perspective of the actual player, the person playing the game, feel like I guess they did more work. Or maybe they actually did do more work, because by the time the game's ending, you know, by the time I guess the main plot of the game's ending, they're going to have a team of nearly level 100s, and that's going to be a really good feeling. Like, oh my god, you know? And then, say, the after game could just be filled with a bunch of level 100 Pokemon that you have to go up against, and that would be pretty cool, because that would actually be challenging. And, you know, I don't know if it would really necessarily be difficult if you, I guess, level 100 versus level 100, I guess you're just relying on the raw power of the Pokemon rather than you know, having a huge leveling difference over it. Like, if I'm using a level 70 Pidgey versus a level 40 Charizard, obviously my level 70 Pidgey is going to win. But once it's 100 versus 100, Pidgey's going to get demolished. So this is definitely an interesting take. Like last video, you don't have to go back and watch it, but basically in that video we discussed that Pokemon shouldn't evolve after level 50 because, for, you know, Hydreigon evolve at the next 64 is just way too high. But if the Elite Four were to be formatted like this, then you would have a Hydreigon for like 20 levels before you even like have to take on the Elite. I think that's actually pretty cool. You would actually have a Hydreigon before you're anywhere near the Elite Four. That would be great. Also, not to mention, you know, I guess one thing you could talk about is, oh, but if they're level 90 on your first run, what about the Elite Four rematch? They're gonna just have to make them level 100. And yeah, that's fine. And that might not be technically much harder, I guess, in terms of level, but what they could do is, they could actually, well, I think what they do in like most games when you do like an Elite Four rematch is they actually switch up their team and they add new moves and stuff like that to them. They give them items maybe. They could do all that at level 100 and actually make the Elite Four rematch a lot more challenging than the initial run through, even though the level difference isn't, I guess, that higher. I don't know. There's probably a lot of cons to doing, I guess, the leveling like that. But I think, I don't know if the pros would outweigh it, but I think there would be like a lot of like good that would come from the Elite Four being level 80 to 90. Even like level 70 to 80 on the first run would be pretty solid. That would give you like, you know, a good 20 odd levels for the after game to get up to level 100. It's still ridiculous that, like, I think the highest trainer, like the highest leveled Pokemon you've ever been able to battle I guess, in game is like a level 88 Pikachu. I think that's the highest level, but I could be wrong. I think it's Red's Pikachu from Heart Gold Soul Silver though. Yeah, I like that take. It's very interesting to talk about. I don't think they will ever do that, but I would totally be on board to see it. When the EXP share was first featured in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, it made leveling up one Pokemon easier. Until Pokemon X and Y, that's when it became broken and made the game too easy. Overleveled Pokemon can ruin the fun. I had a Toxicroak who was level 70 plus, sweeping through the level 40 Pokemon in mid-game. The experience share ruins the fun and made Pokemon too easy. I wish they bring back the old experience share. Personally, this means a lot to me because I prefer the old experience share, but I totally understand why people like the new one also. Obviously the argument to this comment would just be, oh, just turn it off. But personally, I just like leveling up, you know, 2 Pokemon at a time. I don't like having the whole 6, you know, because it's harder to control a balanced team, I guess. I think having experience share be a key item is okay, but I think they should, like, they probably have the capability of making it so you can select, you know, you click on the experience share, then you go select one Pokemon or select all. If you could just have that option, I would love to just share experience with one Pokemon and I guess gain experience that way. Maybe there's a benefit to doing it that way. Maybe if you just share it with one Pokemon, that Pokemon gets more experience or something. I don't know. I am definitely I'm definitely someone that's an advocate for, if the game's too easy, make it harder on yourself. Because if a game like Pokemon, it's really difficult to like balance difficulty. Like Ultra Necrozma, that wasn't difficult, that was just stupid. For example, so it's hard to make a game difficult because everybody's got their own experience with it. Like for me, Mimikyu, the Mimikyu trial was so ridiculously difficult for me, but other people are like, I just walked all over it. So I think balancing a game difficulty wise, like Pokemon, is really hard because everybody uses their own different teams. So that's why I've always been a big, like, make the game harder on yourself. But I don't think having to turn off the experience share altogether and switch training is really fun. I'm with this guy, I would rather use the old experience share. But I think we can have the best of both worlds and have them both be in the game. This person requested that I didn't show their name. By the way, if anybody else wants to do this, you know, if you're commenting on my videos and you don't want your name to be seen by whatever many people watch the video, then just say, don't show my name. I think Eevee could have an expanded evolution where if you don't use any stones after level 30-ish, Eevee will evolve into something new. For now, let's call it Eevee Plus. For the normal type, Eeveelution, but it would not be able to evolve into an expanded stone evolution afterwards, so no Vaporeon Plus. I think the main reason I chose this comment is because I mainly wanted to talk about Eeveelutions in general. This is probably going to be like a hot take from my end. I don't think they're going to add any more Eeveelutions. I mean, I could be just completely wrong, but when they added Sylveon, it seemed very final. Like, because after they added Sylveon, I think the Eeveelutions became, like, after they added Sylveon, that's when Eevee became the like, with the secondary mascot, basically. I don't want to repeat myself, but Sylveon's addition seemed very final to me. I can't, like, something inside me just tells me they're not going to add any more Eeveelutions. I don't really hate the idea of like a normal type Eeveelution that just evolves after level up, but I think it would have to be like after level 50 or something. I know that's really far away. Maybe after it learns Trump Card or something. I don't know. I don't think it should just be a casual level up Eevee, because I think there's some games where you can catch Eevees in the wild quite late. Maybe after level 40, Eevee could evolve into a normal type Eeveelution. I think a normal type Eeveelution would be nice, but like I said, I've got a feeling that Eeveelutions are kind of done now. I think if they add more Eeveelutions, they have to kind of like, if they add any more now on, like they have to kind of like go for the full list of types. Like they can't just pick favorites. They've got to have an Eeveelution for every single type, and maybe that's what they're gonna do, but I don't know. I think they're done with Eeveelutions. RNG as a whole should be done away with. I've lost count of how many times I've lost a battle due to a crit, or missing a fairly accurate move several times in a row, or by far my saltiest battle ever, getting hit by 3 thunders in a row, the second paralyzing me and the third critting me, while my mon was unable to move from the paralysis for the last 2 turns. World Championships can be lost due to someone getting unlucky. This is a tough, I'm gonna just disagree with you. I think RNG is just such a staple of Pokemon nowadays. Like there's Pokemon's competitor Temtem. Temtem are not doing RNG. Temtem are using a stamina system or something, which is cool. That's dope. Something different to set them apart from Pokemon. But I don't think Pokemon should remove RNG. I don't think they should, like, they've done what they can to lower it. Because originally crits did double damage, now they do 1.5. Crits, I think, used to be, I think they've nerfed how often crits appear. I could be wrong about that, but I think they have nerfed the likelihood of getting a critical hit. And they've, like, they've raised Will-O-Wisp's accuracy, which is, you know, that's helpful because it means you're not going to get screwed over and miss. They've done a lot over the years to make RNG more fair, and at the end of the day, it is RNG, and you can get very, very unlucky. But I think one thing I've always heard from VGC players is that VGC, I think it's Wolfie Glick that said it, maybe, or maybe Jamie Keen. I don't remember exactly who said it, but I've heard the term that VGC, or Pokemon battling in general, is basically just managing your RNG. It's basically just, you know, who plays around, I guess, the RNG better. Sometimes it can be so BS that it's just like, okay, I could literally do nothing. I lost that battle regardless. But it's just about, I guess, being smart and not letting that risk be there. That's why if you watch Wolfie Glick battle, you see him switch all the time. He doesn't leave anything up to chance. If there's a chance this could happen, he doesn't let it happen. That's why he's one of the best battlers in the world. So I don't think RNG should be done away with, because it is just so iconic to Pokemon. I'm not saying, oh, just get good. Because, yeah, I think part of Pokemon's charm is that you can get crit X amount of times in a row and just get super mad. It's all fun at the end of the day. It's the way I see it. It's not that deep. It's a video game. Maybe I'm just thinking about it too much from an entertainment perspective. Because, like, you know, I for example, for one thing, one of my pet peeves is I hate catching Pokemon, legendary Pokemon, because they just break out. It's just not fun to me, and I know that's RNG as well. I think it's just because of how slow the animations go, you know? You could be sitting there for half an hour and still not have caught one of the legendary you're trying to catch, you know? And there's like 10% of the game itself is legendary Pokemon, so yeesh, it's a lot of time to spend catching legendaries. Anyways, got off topic. Nah, RNG shouldn't be done away with. It's too iconic now. I don't even know if there's much else they can do to, like, I guess, try and combat RNG, because I think they've demonstrated that they're doing their best to try and minimalize how hacksy the game is. The next Pokemon game should ask whether or not the player wants tutorials. If not, then the game starts with you at the Pokélab. If you do need help, it'll be in the Poké Guide, one of the choices of the main menu, like the save button. I don't know necessarily about just starting you at the Pokemon Lab. I think there should just be like, I guess in most other video games you see, you'll be like, you know, you'll be playing along or whatever, and you press the plus button, and that'll kind of just, you know, you press that, and then it'll be like, do you want to skip? And you click yes. I don't know if that would really fit Pokemon's style, but I definitely think it's something they could consider. Because, like, or maybe just make it so that the dialogue goes fast. I don't know. I don't know if skipping to the Pokemon Lab, it would just feel that would feel very strange to me. That would feel very, I don't know, that would rub me the wrong way. But they should definitely have it, I guess, are you an experienced Pokemon trainer, or is this your first time? And then maybe throughout that will remove some dialogue that, you know, that would have been there otherwise, you know. I don't know how they could handle it, but I don't think they should just chuck you in the Pokélab, but I definitely would appreciate it if they removed some dialogue of teaching you, like, I guess, types, for example, teaching you how to play the game. Like, if they just allowed you to skip the catch tutorial altogether, unless, you know, for example, the catching in this game works differently. I guess, I don't know. I guess the big concern with something like that is that a kid thinks he knows what he's doing, just skips it. You know, he skips all the basics, then he just gets bored of the game and sells it or whatever, because he's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, well, you shouldn't have skipped the tutorial, you idiot. Because, you know, I think when I was younger myself, I would be the type to be like, I don't want to read any of this, let me just skip the tutorial, I'll figure it out. So, I can see why they don't do something like that, but it would be nice, I guess. I don't see it happening, though. If Slow Start would only last 2 to 3 turns instead of 5 turns, Regigigas would not be as terrible as it is right now. Hell, it might actually be decent. Give it access to Protect and the rest on top of that, and it's actually going to be amazing, like legendaries ought to be. Okay, so this is when it comes to this, I think it should be either or. It should get Rest and Protect with 5 turns, or it should only have 2 to 3 turns of Slow Start. I don't think it should be both of those things. That's pretty, I think that's asking a lot. I think 2 to 3 turns is more fair, because Regigigas does have really good stats. But by the it's difficult, because by the time you actually get going, it's really, you know, I mean, I guess 2 to 3 turns in a doubles battle, for example, is not that long at all, actually. Like 2 to 3 turns just goes by really quickly, especially if you're able to like protect Regigigas with whatever moves. You can like heal him, keep him alive. I think 2 to 3 turns would be nice and balanced. Maybe not so much if you gave him protect on top of that, though. I'm with you, though. I would really like Regigigas to actually be good, because I do like him a lot. It's just he's so garbage. I feel bad for him. And our final take: Pokemon needs autosave. Played Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and Switch accidentally went out of charge and I lost all my progress. Livid. I don't think this is necessarily a hot take, but I do remember seeing a tweet actually of this person, like he just tweeted out the beginning screen of Let's Go saying like, I was like 5 hours into the game and my Switch died. I've got to start again. This game doesn't autosave, what the heck? Because, you know, most video games nowadays autosave. The thing about Pokemon and autosaving though is that like, well, I guess one example I can give you is that when I was younger playing Fire Red and Leaf Green, I was trying to decide which Eeveelution I wanted. Did I want Flareon, Vaporeon, or Jolteon? I knew how they evolved. I just wanted to see how they looked in game, because I hadn't seen how they looked in game yet. It was my first time playing through the game. So I saved, evolved one, turned it off, evolved one, turned it off, evolved one, turned it off, then chose which one I actually wanted. And I guess with auto-saving, I guess it depends how the autosave worked. And it would definitely have to be something that you get to choose if you want to on or off. The only issue with adding an autosave, like, I think, okay, the most balanced one would be is autosave every time you visit a Pokemon Center. There's some Pokemon fan games that do that already, and that's great, because, you know, I think it's also the reason why that Pokemon fan game does it is because it's quite buggy. So if anything goes wrong, at least, you know, you've recently healed, so your game doesn't, you know, break or whatever. I think, yeah, it should definitely be an option, but then also the same breath, it's like, if they do make it an option and then somebody has turned autosave on, forgets to turn it off, and really needs it to be off because they want to, I don't know, there are some benefits to having autosave turned off, and somebody forgets, that could induce some rage. Regardless, you're never going to make everybody happy, but I think autosave, especially when, I guess, in today's gaming, whatever you want to call it, how video games work nowadays, especially how the Switch works, autosave would be very good. Even if it's just every time you visit the Pokemon Center and heal your Pokemon, the game autosaves, that would be nice. It's mainly for newer players, I reckon. You know, when you're first starting up the game, it could say, do you want autosave, yes or no? Because there are other video games that have done that before, asking you if you want to autosave or not. Anyways, I've been talking for way too long. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Debate 'Em All. If you want to go ahead and leave some of your hot takes, opinions, whatever in the comments, feel free to. I would love to respond to you next week. This is a series that happens every Thursday. Go ahead and share this video with a friend if you can for me, and drop a like on it. Support me, support the series, and I'll see you guys next time.